Hey, good morning, Metropolis. It's now 5 after the hour of 6 a.m. in the big monster city.
Come on! Let's get pumped!
I'm not drinking any fucking Merlot! What can I say? The camera loves me.
Shall we begin? After you, Junior.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Logged It.
She will move that ball around and mix those speeds.
Not me.
Zach watching basketball?
I don't know what Zach was doing.
I'm trying to put the Olympic softball game on the side.
That's fair.
Fair enough. Well, already off to a great start. We got to go trophy night. We got animated characters is our topic, and we got some very animated people, as always, Mr. Tim Brzakala. Tim, you're wearing an animated character on your shirt.
Yeah, I got Stitch's ass in my face. I didn't know that when I bought this shirt that would be the thing that would go along with it. But yep, Stitch's ass in my face. I like animated movies because I'm a child, and yeah, I actually watched good movies this week. So there's that.
If the only people considered adults were the people who didn't like animated movies, I think everyone would just kill themselves.
It's probably accurate.
Zach, speaking of children who are basically adults who are basically children, Zach, you're here.
I thought you were defending the animation fans. I mean,
he's out of line.
The animation haters are the ones that aren't adults. They're like stuck 12-year-olds trying to like prove how grown up they are. Look at me, I'm cool. I watch rated R movies.
That's actually true. That is fair. But how are you doing? You doing good?
I'm doing delightful. I'm happy to be here.
Holtzman, you're still basically a child.
Yep.
Good response. Great. So great back and back.
You don't get any banter from me. You get an agreement.
We got a real Shane Black thing going on. Just snip snap banner. Anyway, as the show works, we've got different topics. First thing we've got, we always talking about Letterboxd. What was the best movie you logged this week? Favorite movie you logged this week? Best favorite. Aren't they basically the same? I don't know. What was your favorite thing you logged this week? Tim, we'll start with you. Favorite thing you logged?
Yeah, like I said, I actually watched some movies that I liked this week, both in the world of fandom and in the not world of fandom. So I will go outside fandom. And a lot of people are talking about this movie now, but I went to the theater on Friday. I did a triple feature. I saw Space Jam: A New Legacy, then I saw Escape Room: Tournament of Champions, and I closed off the day with the Nicolas Cage drama Pig. And I didn't know anything about. That's my choice, is Pig. Didn't know anything about it. I knew from working at the theater that it was coming out just because we had the poster and we got the trailer and stuff for it. So I knew that it was something that was coming, but I didn't know what the plot was. I knew that Nick Cage was in it, but that was it. And I don't want to give too much away, but the movie is really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Upon rewatch, I might up it to a 5. I almost did on first viewing, but I was thinking maybe it was because I was coming off of Space Jam and Escape Room. I might have been a little generous, but the movie's excellent. It's like I said, it's a drama with Nick Cage. The little pitch that I'll give without giving too much away is that he is, and Zach, you're gonna like this. He's a truffle hunter, who lives in the woods with his with his pig, who helps him hunt truffles. And the pig is kidnapped, and he goes on a journey to find the pig. And it kind of explores underbelly, high-end restaurant stuff. This movie is literally it's like a mix of Chef with like the tone of like the John Wick series. It's not like an action movie, but it's like underbelly of a world you wouldn't expect, dark and grimy, with Nick Cage turning in a really fucking great performance. Like, I cannot recommend this thing highly enough. And I saw that a couple people in the community went to see it. I think Beller went and saw it, and I think Payson saw it as well. I saw on Letterboxd. So a few people have gone to check it out. If it's playing near you, I know it's in really limited release right now. I really recommend checking it out, or the moment it hits streaming, watch it, because it's one that I think it continually subverted my expectations the whole movie. I thought it was really well done. And the director is Michael Sarnowski. This is his debut. So, like, I was super shocked because the movie is gorgeous. It's great. And it surprisingly emotional. I was kind of a mess when it was over. So, yeah, that's my pick.
That's fair. I was going to see it today, and then things came up, so I didn't get a chance to. Zach, Holtzman, have either of you seen Pig yet?
No, but when Tim just mentioned Meet Truffle Hunters, is because I briefly talked about the documentary on Truffle Hunters last time, and I know in my review of that I mentioned how I wish there would be a full thing on the underworld of the truffle dealers, because there was like some late night, back behind the scenes black market deals going on, and they made the movie. They listened to me, and they made it with Nicolas Cage, and now I'm
really quick, like 3 weeks they put it together.
You know, when Zach makes a request, people don't mess around.
No, they fast motion to it. Nick Cage is on call for me. I just like, hey, you have tomorrow to film this movie.
It's true.
Wow. Well, maybe that's just how Nicolas Cage should make all his movies. Holtzman, have you seen it yet?
I have not. I'm weighing out an opportunity that I have, because I know I've told Boatman about this, because I messaged it to a group chat that we're in. But there's in my town, there's a lot of like franchise, like corporate, like franchise theaters. That's pretty much all one company. But there's one independent theater. There's one indie theater that plays smaller movies, and it's the only theater in my city that's playing Pig. And on Sunday, they're playing Pig. But right before Pig, they're playing Babe Pig in the City. So I could double feature those.
That's impressive.
And of course, the moment I heard that this was happening, I did message Nazario Montenegro and tell him, hey, this is the thing that's happening.
Then there's a panel.
I have not seen it. It looks interesting. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but I'm definitely going to check it out once it like starts streaming somewhere.
That is fair. We'll go to Holtzman next. Holtzman, what was your favorite movie you watched this week?
Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of trash this week because trivia studying is a thing. But I also got to watch there's two really great movies I watched, but I'm going with a personal favorite of mine. I rewatched Little Shop of Horrors this week, and I absolutely love that movie. It's one of my favorites. I think it's just so fun. I know that last week there were Little Shop of Horrors jokes made in the beginning of the show when not talking about this movie, with your plant getting bigger or whatever. But no, I think that it's just a fantastic movie. I love Rick Moranis in it. I think Steve Martin is fantastic. Levi Stubbs' vocal performance is Audrey too, and just like the way they make the puppet go is absolutely fantastic. The music is all great. Like, I don't think there's a single song on the soundtrack that's worth skipping. Like, just a really fun time, really enjoyable. Yeah.
So Tim, thoughts on that?
I actually haven't sat down and watched this all the way through. I've seen a lot, like I've heard the music, all of it for the most part, just from like being in high school and being in musicals and stuff. It was one that I had heard a lot of the songs from, but I've never actually sat down and watched the movie from beginning to end. It's on my to-do list. I hear the director's cut is the most popular, like the way to go.
The director's cut is the good ending, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll preface, I had to watch it for a study thing, so I watched the bad ending, and then I went back and just went slightly before where the endings switch, and I watched it with the good ending, which is one of my favorite film endings of all time, because it's just like, hey, what if the characters don't win? What if things actually end unhappy? And I think it's really cool, but test audiences in the 80s hated it, so they made a happy ending, and the happy ending sucks.
It's fair.
Screw you, test audiences in the 80s. Zach, thoughts on Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah, I watched it for the first time recently. We did a pod on it on Lucas and Zach pod. We defended the ending a lot. I kind of like the traditional ending. I think you like the director's cut in retrospect because you get to watch it separately. But I think in the film, it's just a little too chaotic and like way too long, going on for too much. That I think you just need a nice, neat ending because the rest of the movie is what matters. I think there's already enough of a climax, enough like action and terror that you don't need to drag it on for 20 more minutes of the chaos. I think it's a good like, what if it ended like this and it's goofy and those things are fun to, think about. But I don't think they're always functional.
Do it like Clue.
Yeah, you could do it like Clue, and then that would be a gag, right? Just do the multiple endings, and I think that could work. It would work with the tone of the movie. Someone in the chat did say my favorite part. I think Bill Murray is one of my favorite one-scene performances in any comedy. It's so funny. Some real like kid energy with his masochist dental payment.
I need a long, slow root canal.
Yeah, because I love
saving up all year for this.
Yeah, it's the funniest scene in the movie. And I just love that they like do these bits and these skits that don't really have to like do with the plot. They really focused on the comedy. I think instead of the musical, but that's not to its harm.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I also just love how much this just, in a lot of aspects, it feels like a 60s musical. Like they capture like a certain like West Side Story feel to it in some parts, and that makes the craziness of it so much funnier. I think I love the narrator's Skid Row, which is one of the best songs in a musical. That song rocks. Yeah, I love Little Shop of Horrors. I disagree with Zach's assessment on the ending because I saw the director's cut first, not second. So do what you will with that. We'll go to Zach next since you had a lot of opinions. What was your favorite movie you loved?
I feel like that's what I'm supposed to have opinions. You say it's like an insult. Why am I on the show?
You're supposed to have opinions. I'm just letting you have those opinions. You're welcome.
I had an opposite week of Holzman. I watch a lot of movies I love. It's the benefits of not playing trivia. And I watched three of my all-time favorites with Into the Wild, Jungle Book, and High Fidelity. But I will talk about one I gave a 10-star for on the first time watch. Since I'm not allowed to talk about High Fidelity, the community has banded together and say no High Fidelity was allowed on the show for this month. So I won't talk about it. But my first time watch, that it just like got no votes in the poll, and it was very sad. Anyways, for a first time watch, I watched the. I'm blanking on the director's name, but classic comedy from the 40s, kind of a World War II era Ernst Lubitsch comedy, To Be or Not to Be. It's just why I want to talk about this is I do feel like this is one in the community that can like run wild. I can see a lot of people, especially those in our community that love classic films, just really grabbing onto this movie. It may be one of the funniest movies that I've existed because it's a group of Polish actors. All have those kind of theater kiddie personalities to them that get kind of caught in a spy thriller Nazi plot of trying to kind of uncover the secrets of this German spy. And they're like undercover they're spies, as Nazis, as Hitler is at some point. And the fact that they always care so much about the performance and the attention they get, it just always works for great gags. It's incredibly intelligent, incredibly brave to be done in that era, right around World War II, still like a thing. That I think it stands the test of time. It's hard, and it's hard to do World War II jokes. It's a serious time in our history, and it's done well like this and done with intelligence. It can work. greatly, I recommend it because it also functions not just as a comedy, but as an actual thriller. The plot is still kind of suspenseful. They can manage those tones very well. So.
Yeah, no, that sounds real interesting. I actually want to check. I had vaguely heard about it because of the Mel Brooks remake from the 80s, but I hadn't really heard anything really pro or against. But I kind of want to check it out now. Tim, Holtzman, have either of you seen this?
No.
Yeah, that's a big no from me, dog.
It sounds interesting.
I'm sure I would like it if I watched it, but Blade 2 isn't going to watch itself, guys. So.
It is on HBO Max, so everyone can go.
Okay, that's if it's streaming, that's more of a likelihood that I might check it out. So.
I will go to me next. So the thing I'm the only one who hasn't talked. One I'll just shout out briefly is my favorite rewatch of last week was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That movie is just so powerful, particularly like the last 20-30 minutes are just some of the greatest acting and scenes ever put to film. But I'm going with the film from the 60s, 1964 to be exact, that I never hear anyone talk about. It's called Topkapi, and it's great. It's a 60s heist movie, basically about these people who want to steal an emerald dagger from the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul. So that they're wanting to do that, and they basically hire this like guy who his only job is just supposed to be to drive this car that has weapons in it into Istanbul. The border patrol picks him up, finds weapons in the car, and think he's part of an international terrorist plot. And now they're having him like double cross because he thinks that the heist is part of an international terrorist plot. So it's kind of all these different intertwining things going on, and like it gets really complicated but really funny. It's a kind of crime comedy, which is just one of my favorite genres. YLS tomorrow I'm hosting. And Peter Ustinov won the Oscar for that film. He absolutely deserved it. He plays the guy whose job it is to drive the car, and he's very funny. It's got a lot of style. I absolutely had a great time with it. More people need to see it. I don't know anyone who has logged this on Letterboxd besides me. Zach, have you heard of? Has anyone here seen Topkapi? I don't think so because no one has logged.
Nah. I think I've heard of it because I like have interest in watching Jules Dassin movies, but I haven't given much a try. But it sounds wonderful. I think the heist genre is endlessly fun, especially I think done in the prime of its genre era, which is the 50s and 60s, and France has output some of those best as well.
Yeah. Tim Holtzman?
I haven't heard of it, but until I saw that you logged it, it sounds really interesting. I love crime movies, and you throw like a heist comedy element in there as well. Like, yeah, I'm game for that. That sounds good. I'll add it to the watch list.
Yeah, I have heard of this film because you watched it and you were like, "Hey guys, if you haven't seen this, it's pretty good." So I knew of its existence for the same reason that these guys know of its existence just a few days earlier.
That's fair. Now we're going to go to your least favorite movie you logged last week. This is where we talk about the crap. Zach, what was your despicable thing you watched last week?
Yeah. So I didn't watch anything I didn't like. But I will go to something I just kind of want to talk about. And it is, amongst my lowest rated at 6 out of 10 is The Sword and Stone has some serious problems. I've been rewatching Disney movies with Theo, who barely has an idea of what's going on. When there's an animal on screen, he's like, he's all about it. So there's birds in this. He's like, great, this is the best movie ever. He loved Aristocats, just like meow for 90 minutes straight.
Oh man, I feel like meow for 90 minutes straight. Just wait until we get to my pick.
Anyway, Sword in the Stone. I don't hate it because I think that some of the adventure qualities, the medieval qualities are great, but Three Forces movie has like nothing to do with King Arthur or the medieval times. And it's just like them transporting themselves into animals to learn life lessons like don't fuck a squirrel. I don't even know what like the morals of these like stories are. The three animal fantasy elements are all really goofy and have life lessons that relate not at all to like the King Arthur story thing that I don't get why that exists within this movie. It boggles my mind every time.
If you want a King Arthur story, watch Camelot or the Guy Ritchie version or Holy Grail. This is fun. It's about fish and squirrels and birds.
Then make that movie. Don't call it Sword in the Stone and be about the mythology when you're not going to deal with it that much.
What's wrong with
they want to have like training
elements. Call it King Arthur. It's just about it's a different angle. It's like Wicked. Holtzman.
I don't know. I kind of want to just yield my time to you so you can yell a bit more because I don't have strong opinions about this movie either way. But you just seem really unhappy. No, I think this movie's fine. It's lower end of Disney for me personally. I don't think it's bad, but I don't love it the way people named Kaleb Boatman do. Yeah, if you didn't watch anything like bad this week, I can understand this being.
I still like it.
The worst.
Okay. You can make me more sad now.
I mean, I don't hate this movie either. It's just I have to do it for the meme at this point that this lost me the second chance at the title. But yeah, no, I don't love the movie. I don't hate the movie. I think it's like Zach said, it's just like really mediocre and it focuses on things that I don't want it to focus on. Like I like Merlin. And Arthur's fine, but I don't know, the squirrel thing is fucking weird, and
it's delightful, Tim.
I don't know. This
delight.
Arthur is basically Kaleb Boatman, so like I get it, like I understand. I think this is also I found out recently that this is like Kelly Meehan's like favorite movie ever, and that kind of blows my mind. But yeah, I mean,
crazy.
For the meme, I have to hate it, but I don't hate it. I just think it's not a Disney movie that I'm ever going to be like, hey kids, let's watch Sword in the Stone. Like, no.
I'm quite possibly at least one of the biggest fans of like classic Disney in our group. Like all my favorites come before the like 1980s. It's all, and this is my least favorite of the 60s and 70s, which is my favorite era of Disney. But
okay,
Aristocats better. Everybody wants be a cat rules.
Well, I'm going to harness this energy, and I'll bring up my least favorite movie I logged this week. I'll direct my energy at someone else. Jake Marangoni, are you watching?
Oh, boy.
You made me do a bad thing.
Oh, I know where this is going.
I had to watch Kangaroo Jack. I had to do that. It's not good, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but in some ways it was worse than I thought it was going to be. Christopher Walken is Christopher Walken, so like that's always a plus for me. But this movie is so just confused. I don't know what movie it's trying to be. If it's trying to be a kids movie, if it's trying to be a crime comedy, is it trying to be like more of like an adult movie than got turned into a kids movie? I have no idea. What is this? It exists. I don't like it. The Kangaroo Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. That's one of my favorite songs, and I think it's ruined now. Tim, have you seen this portal into the gates of hell?
Yeah, I have. Not in years. I saw this when it came out, and then I haven't seen it since. And I was honestly like, all of a sudden, it just started like popping up again because like Jake started like talking about it, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I don't remember anything about it. I I read somewhere this week on someone's review that this was supposed to be an R-rated movie that they re-edited to be a kids movie. I don't know how true that is, or if I'm just making that up when I was drunk on Friday night. But yeah, no, I remember not like hating it as a kid, but I'm sure if I watched it now, I'd probably want to die. So there's that.
Boatman, you didn't have to watch this.
No, yeah. I watched. See, the thing is, Boatman, you did the thing where you went, "Oh, I have to write questions about a movie. I'll watch the whole movie." I did the thing where I had to write one question about a different really shitty movie. So I watched 20 minutes of it and went, "That's a good question," and I stopped watching.
We're gonna have a talk about that because that's something you shouldn't do. And Cody Newberry is gonna get mad at you.
That makes the admins angry.
I'm laughing, but I'm actually furious. Zach.
I think you're more furious because you watched a shitty movie and I didn't.
When this came out, I was like pumped. Like, this is good. I was 14. I still had horrible taste by 14. I was like, this is going to be the best movie. Fucking kangaroos. They finally get their time to shine on screen. And I think it kind of passed me by and I didn't care that much. For some reason, I also remember being really excited about the potential of Anthony Anderson as a Hollywood star. I don't know what I saw of him before this, but I was all about Anthony Anderson. I was looking at his filmography or IMDb page, and he was on My Wife and Kids for 2 episodes. Maybe that's what I knew him from.
Didn't he do The Departed after he was in Kangaroo Jack?
Yeah, could not even tell you he was in The Departed. So
yeah, it was after.
But he was a doctor on My Wife and Kids, and that was my favorite show as a 12-year-old. So maybe that was it.
Yeah, but after he was in The Departed, he was in Transformers. So
that's playing the same character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And they're in the same universe actually, along with Friday the 13th. It's
all so Kangaroo Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All one
Transformers 6, Kangaroo Jack.
Give us that crossover movie, whatever studio exists.
It turns out Kangaroo Jack is an alien robot all along, and he transforms in his full form in the next movie.
Okay.
Jesus.
Holtzman, what was your least favorite movie you loved this week?
Hinted at it earlier. So I realized recently the person, and I said this to Tim before we started filming, the person in this community that has made me watch the worst movies while studying for movie trivia is me. It's me. I make myself watch the worst movies. Like, sometimes you pick a strength because you really like musicals. And then you have to watch 2019's Cats again. I rewatched that movie last night. I rewatched 2019's Cats yesterday. Movie's awful. Movie's terrible. Surprisingly, it doesn't make it easier. It arguably makes it more terrifying when you watch that movie at 1.25 or 1.5 speed, like I did, because I wanted it to be over faster. And it turns out that what happens is it doesn't matter that Rebel Wilson Cat and James Corden Cat are on screen for less time. They're moving even faster and even more threateningly than they already do. It's just awful. It's so stupid. I'll give you the, like, Jennifer Hudson's basically the only reason it's not a half star, because she's actually okay in it. And to quote the great poet Ian McKellen, meow. Sorry, I need to look more directly at the camera. Meow.
Adelaide Spence forced me to watch this movie, and
I was on call with you and Koho.
Yeah, that was how I experienced Cats, and that's probably the best way to experience Cats, and it was still a nightmare.
Not at 1.5 speed at midnight.
I don't know how you're not a serial killer now.
No one ever said I wasn't.
That's true. Zach, did you ever see Cats?
I watched Cats for a commentary episode on Chance's podcast. So how much I paid attention is the perfect way to watch it, because I was so busy just trying to make jokes, I actually didn't know what was happening on the movie. So I probably got the best experience I could. I remember being very focused on Rum Tum Tugger. That guy was a delight. I like Chaos Cats. He was all about the fuckery. That was enjoyable.
Hey, Tim, do you know who plays Rum Tum Tugger?
Am I missing a joke?
Jason Derulo.
Oh, that's right. Jason Derulo. Your booty like 2 planets.
The greatest multiplex, one of the greatest multiplex loves movies.
That is that's top 5 for me. I fucking love that moment. Yeah, I saw this movie in the theater.
Sorry.
And I saw it for free though. I didn't have to pay for it. And I watched it with my entire staff and my boss, and like we did like a crew screening of it, had some fun. But it wasn't fun. It was a nightmare. I would like to go back to something that Cameron said, that Hudson is like the only one that's all right. She's not even good in the movie. Sorry. But there's a great video, and what I'll do to get it out to people is on the Multiplex Logged It letterbox page, I will log cats with a link to this video that I want you guys to check out. It's called Why the Music in Cats Like Sucks, basically. And it's like an 1.5 hour long video that excellently breaks down why this movie is just like, not just from like it's a bad movie, but like actually like beat for beat taking the music and deconstructing it and looking at it, and it actually is like brilliant. It's way more enjoyable than watching the actual movie. So I'm gonna do that because I want people to see that video. So yeah, but the movie is rough, and I believe, I don't remember if there was the butthole cut was ever released, but what I do know is that at the theater when it came out, we got the movie. And for those of you who don't know, nowadays everything's digital. So we get the movies on like a hard drive, or it comes in via a satellite. And then because it's digital, there's like a key that we get sent from the studio that unlocks the movie. So we can't play it until we have this like digital key that unlocks the content. So when we got the movie, it was Cats. We put it in and it started playing, and that's that. And about a week into the movie's release, we got a notice from the studio that said, "We are sending you a new version of Cats, and you will play that one now." And we were like, "But what's different?" Well, it had updated visual effects, and like I guess they like redid some of the visuals. I don't know what
so much better.
Exactly, right? I don't know what they changed, but for a week we played this original version, and then we had they sent us a new one with like updated visuals and stuff. And I was like, this is fucking weird. The movie's just, I'm way more interested in the making of the movie than the actual movie. So there's that.
I want like the Disaster Artist style movie about the making of Cats, because I feel like that would be insane. But yeah, we're living in an age now where we're just gonna get DLC for our movies. It's just gonna be, oh, this movie was bad, DLC, we fix it, like in video games.
Is Andrew Barr, did you say cauliflower?
I don't think so. I think Andrew Barr has his own. I don't know who did you say cauliflower is.
Well, they're throwing shade at Andrew Lloyd Webber, and that we can't stand for that. So anyway,
I mean, we can mostly stand for that.
I can stand for that.
We can stand for that as long as we're not degrading Joseph. That's the one good thing he did.
Phantom of the Opera's great.
Actually, I agree with you on.
Oh,
that's
Paul. Oh,
Paul?
That's not surprising. Okay, come on, Paul. Come on. Phantom's great. Anyway,
I mean, Andrew Lloyd Webber's a hack. So we'll get on to movies were added to our watch list. These are ones we're wanting to see. Zach,
skip
you
me.
got one?
You're not prepared. I forgot about this part.
Oh, that's fine. We'll go to Tim. Tim.
yeah. Let me.
Tim, did I skip
We didn't ask Tim what his worst movie was.
I don't think I did. I feel bad now.
Did you not?
No.
Oh no, I don't think you. No, you didn't.
Okay, we'll go back. You both.
Whoops! I talked about Cats.
I'll be ready then.
Well, no, I do have that one ready. The worst one I watched easily was the Fandom one. It wasn't Space Jam 2, surprisingly. No, it was 2001's Planet of the Apes. I think we've even talked about it on the show before, but Movie's ass. There's a lot of apes movies that are either great or fine, and then there's like 2 that are just like awful. This is one of them. I think this movie is just absolutely terrible. The only redeeming quality about this movie is the apes actually look pretty good. But Tim Roth is a crazy meth head in this movie. Like, I can't fucking stand it. Mark Wahlberg is terrible. I don't have the energy to talk on it too long. Fucking oof.
No. Tim Roth has a coke problem in this movie.
Yeah, that's accurate.
I don't know if Tim Roth actually does have a coke problem in real life, but he got one for this movie.
This just in. Cody Newberry wants to see Abraham Lincoln 2.
Can we get like Daniel Day-Lewis to come out of retirement to play Ape Lincoln?
Oof. That'd be intense. And I promise you, I don't.
Vampire Hunter be good if it was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Who is Chris Stomo 1, 2, 3? I don't know.
Diaz.
Oh, Diaz. No, stop. Like, no. One movie has Daffy Duck and the other doesn't. So one is automatically better. So
I respect that logic.
That one is better than the other if one has Daffy Duck.
Zach, thoughts on Burton's Apes?
Oh, thank you. I was not paying attention to what movie he said, and I've been trying to figure it out and put the pieces together the whole time. So I watched it
by Abraham Lincoln.
I somehow thought we were just talking about Abe Lincoln and our favorite presidents. Great tall guys. I saw it as a kid. I have no memory of it. I'll never watch it. That's my take.
That's fair. Holtzman?
Yeah. I watched this because I too, unfortunately, play in Fandom. No, I love Fandom, and then I watch movies like 2001's Planet of the Apes, and then I don't love Fandom for a little while. It's not great. I don't know if I consider it the worst Apes film. It's definitely bottom 2. It's a real bad movie. I don't know if anything can be considered particularly great about it. It's just a mess. The only good thing is I can laugh really hard when Abraham Lincoln shows up on screen.
That's fair. I think this one is pretty easily, not pretty easily the worst. I think this is the second worst. Beneath is just one of the most
other one.
Baffling movies.
That's the second worst, but this is worse.
This one at least has Paul Giamatti, and
one has Charlton Heston. One has a small ape lady humping a giant gorilla.
Oh my god, that sounds wonderful.
Paul Giamatti
would seem like the better movie.
Exactly what movie he is in.
It's so bad. It's so terrible. It makes me angry. Oh,
that's fair. Now we'll get into watch list.
I have a pick now if Zach doesn't.
I do.
Okay, go ahead then.
We'll go ahead. So Con was last week. Canis, and I liked a lot of movies. I'm really excited about a whole bunch. It seemed like a great lineup this year. And I'm going with the boring ones. I'm going with the winner. Because low key, the best movie of this week actually might be the video of Spike Lee announcing the Palme d'Or at the beginning of the ceremony on accident and skipping all the other awards. Really great moments. They're like, announce the awards. It's like, okay, the winner is Titan. And they still had 10 other awards to give, and no one knew what was happening. But anyways, Titan won the Palme d'Or. This is... I'm going to mispronounce her name. French name, Julie Dorsenau.
Julia Ducournau.
Thank you. Did you take French in high school? Look at you.
He's Canadian.
I'm Canadian. Of course I did.
That's right. Anyways, she directed Raw, and Raw was in my top 10 of that year. I think really great at having like genre thrills and elements, and that seems like it's going to be in this movie while still maintaining this like French atmosphere and still dramatic elements. A good melding of it. I'm really excited. It sounds weird as shit. Good for Con, giving weird movies 2 times in a row because I think Parasite won last time. on the Palme d'Or and giving some highlight to on these little more genre thriller movies.
That's fair. Holtzman.
Sorry, am I responding to this? Or am I
No.
saying
What's a different one that's on your watch list?
Yeah, I went with a movie that I thought was on my watch list, and I realized it wasn't. It's a movie I've been meaning to watch for a while, and I still haven't gotten around to it. It's a movie from 1999, starring Natasha Lyonne, called "But I'm a Cheerleader." I've heard it's quite good. I've heard it's really interesting. It's basically about a teenage girl who her parents believe that she might be a lesbian, and so they send her to basically like a Christian conversion camp. And it's like a very dark comedy about basically what goes on there. I've heard really good things. I've heard that I would really like it. I thought it was in my watch list, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's not. So I added it. I really want to see it. It's like less than 90 minutes, so it's going to be something that I probably get to pretty quick because it's a quick, easy watch. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I've heard that this movie is interesting. I haven't really heard anything actually on quality, just that it's kind of like was very different and had a tough time getting past the rating censors at the time. But you watch it first, and then if it's good, you tell me, and then I'll watch it.
I will do that.
Tim, what is a movie you added to your watch list this week?
The one that I added because I saw that it was coming to Criterion, and then a friend of mine actually bought it and reviewed it and watched it. It's Deep Cover. It's a Lawrence Fishburne, Jeff Goldblum movie directed by Bill Duke, who, I'm not going to lie to you, I've seen Bill Duke in a couple movies, didn't realize that he had directed like a ton of movies. So I don't know much about the movie other than that it's kind of like, it sounds like something I'm really interested in with like, you know, drug officers going into undercover, deep cover, obviously, per the title, and kind of working undercover to get to the it sounds cliche from like the synopsis, like it sounds like a Donnie Brasco or a Departed or something like that, but I like those movies, and I love Lawrence Fishburne. I think he's great in pretty much everything, even if it's a bad movie, and I love me some Goldblum, and I don't think I've seen any Bill Duke directed movies other than I saw that he directed like one of the Sister Act movies, the second one.
Back in the Habit.
Yeah, so no, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's definitely one that's jumped up as one that I would like to see now. So that's my pick.
No, that's fair. I had vaguely heard about it, and then today I went Criterion shopping at Barnes & Noble.
Did you get it?
I did not get that one, but I saw it there. I'm like, oh, that's on Criterion. Cool. I got 3 Whit Stillman movies and all that jazz.
Sounds great. Great day shopping.
Yeah, that Wilt Stillman collection was down from 80 to 40, so
that's a must buy.
Yeah, so yeah, I want to get that, and I'm excited because I love 2 of those movies and haven't seen Metropolitan, and that's the one he was nominated for an Oscar for. My watch list movie that I added on, I added this on in my watch list because Holtzman added this on.
I saw you did.
Added this onto his watch list, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. It's a film called Topsy Turvy. And it's apparently it's about like the dynamic between Gilbert and Sullivan, which I really like Gilbert and Sullivan.
We all know Gilbert and Sullivan's Lost work is the best one, though.
Omelet.
It's a joke for a very specific group of people.
Yes.
Oh, I know Tim is part of that audience.
Yeah, I'll stay here and be on the outside. I give you a pay lift.
Gilbert and Sullivan. I like Gilbert and Sullivan a lot, and this one sounds really interesting. Kind of like a contentious time for them. And Jim Broadbent plays Gilbert. I like Jim Broadbent. and it's Mike Leigh, who I have never seen a Mike Leigh movie, but I've heard he's great. So yeah, this sounds real interesting. Thank you, Holzman, for adding this to your watch list. Okay, now we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show. Has everyone said a movie? Or Tim, did I skip you again?
No, Deep Cover.
Yeah, Deep Cover. Okay, I didn't skip anybody. Okay, now we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show. This is animated characters. This is our topic. Should be pretty interesting. Just any animated characters. I'll start off, and no, I did not change this. This was always going to be my first pick. I'm going with Merlin. Merlin from the Sword and the Stone.
I think Tim was hoping he'd be able to just like cross out the picture on his shirt from his list.
No. I'm going with the Merlin from the Sword and the Stone. I love the Sword and the Stone. That's why there's a reason I could have talked about it a little bit more. I didn't because I knew I was going to talk about it later. Merlin, I just think this is just such a fun, great portrayal of Merlin, of him being like kind of, because he knows the future, he kind of just gets things all kind of jumbled up of when is where, and I think that's actually a really interesting take. And you can tell like he cares a lot about Arthur. He really wants Arthur to succeed and wants him to be important, but he also like isn't afraid to like kind of show him a little bit of tough love and actually point him in the direction of develop your brain. And I think that's really interesting. He clearly likes to kind of test this hypothesis of brain versus brawn, and you see him use his great battle of wits in the Wizards duel scene, which is just one of the most fun slapstick animated scenes I've ever seen. I love the character of Merlin. I think he's just so much fun. Yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite animated characters, and no, that was not planned. Zach, you didn't like the movie. Do you have thoughts on Merlin?
I mean, my pick was going to be Merlin's version of the horny-ass squirrel. This is the horniest Disney movie. We didn't talk about that. It straight up is. Merlin's fun. He's the best part of the movie. He's enjoyable. He's not my issue with it. I think they should have played more into the senile qualities of him for humor effect. But the design's nice. He has some good gags. They maybe should just focus more on him being a wizard and not them being animals.
That's fair. Holzman.
Yeah, I think like it's you, so I can't like be mad because I didn't expect anything else. Wouldn't be in my top 10.
No, that's fair.
Do you see yourself in Merlin?
I'd maybe go as far as to.
No, I see myself in Parker. I just like Merlin. I just like Merlin as a character. Tim.
I already said everything I need to say about this. Like, I don't care for the movie. I don't love the movie. I don't hate it. It's just, it's there. I honestly, like Paul said, would it be in my top 100? Maybe if I watched it again and I like really found out, like, but as of today, like, I don't even know where in the hell it would be. But so as of now, no. But yeah.
That's fair. Tim, what's your first pick?
Yeah, I was gonna wear a different shirt today, and then I didn't. And now I have Stitch on my shirt, and I'm not even picking him first. I'm going with, I mean, come on, guys, Mike Wazowski, Monster Inc.
I don't have to.
I thought that's what you were gonna say when you were like,
no,
here we go.
I thought he was gonna pick Stitch.
I was like, are you about to pick Mike Wazowski? That you didn't, but yeah, I easily could take my two spots here and just pick Mike and Sully, but I only wanted to take one from the movie, so I went with Mike. As a kid, I always loved Sully the most because he was like the main dude in the movie. But as I've grown older, I just love Mike Wazowski more and more and more. I love him in Monsters University as well. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of the show, but I've enjoyed him in the show so far. I haven't seen last week's episode yet. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of the movie. If you didn't know, it's my favorite movie. He has some of my favorite moments and lines in the whole movie. One of my favorites being when he's in the Scream extractor and he says, "Fungus, look, you like cars, Fungus?
I have a car.
If you let me out, I'll give you a ride in my car." It's just so good. And then, of course, my other favorite one is the Randall, where this hand goes up and this hand goes up. The scare floor will be in my station. When the hand goes down, and then he does the "you have until then to put the kid back. What will be there when we all are at lunch?" Or what does he say? Yeah.
When this hand goes up and this hand goes up, the scare floor
will be
painted.
It's so good. Yeah, I just it's my favorite movie. I watch it 3-4 times a year, if not more, if I'm feeling depressed. It's a go-to feel good, and Mike Wazowski always is the key to that. And honestly, it makes me sad because it's not like on any of the Blu-rays, and I don't even think it's on the Disney Plus version. But the movie was released, and then like 2 weeks later, they re-released it with the outtakes during the credits. And that has the whole "put that thing back where it came from" or "So Help Me" musical, which has my favorite moment in the whole movie by far, which is the "she's out of our hair."
Just when I dare.
It was the closing for Multiplex Loves Movies. It's my profile picture on Twitter. Big fan of Mike Wazowski in all of the versions I've seen him. So
yeah. I think maybe my most quoted, like the line that I quote out of context more than any other movie line is, "If you're going to insult me, at least do it properly." I think that might be my most quoted line. This is also my favorite animated character. I love Mike Wazowski. I kind of had a hunch you would pick it, so that's why I was like, if Tim doesn't pick it first round, I'll come back and do it second round, but you picked it, so I don't have to.
It's fair.
But yeah, Mike is just one of my favorite characters. I love Mike Wazowski. Billy Crystal brings so much to that role. Zach, thoughts on Mike?
I have been watching Monsters at Work as well. That was the Disney Plus show I was most excited for, and it holds up. It's great. It's delightful. I said my son's been loving it. They're just Sully and Mike are just supporting characters, but I think used in the right element, they really get to use Billy Crystal for pure comedic effect in that. It's kind of the triple threat of animated characters because it's a great voice performance, stellar character design, and just a great fucking name. The name Mike Wazowski, perfect for like this nerdy ass monster. That's like half of why he's funny. It's just his name is Mike Wazowski, I think. So I'm a fan. I love it. And I forgot how much I love, Monsters Inc. Universe until the show came on and it brought everything back. Because I also like Monsters University a lot as well.
Holtzman. On Mike.
Yeah, I like Monsters Inc. It's a good pick. It's a good character. I think this is the best character from this movie. Yeah, again, this is one where it's Tim. I can't be mad at Tim for picking the Monsters Inc. thing.
Yeah.
He's watched it 3 times this year.
Exactly. We'll go to you next, Holtzman. What's your first pick?
That's a great question. You know what, Boatman? you were good enough to pick Merlin. And what is Merlin without Arthur? Christmas. Going with Arthur from Arthur Christmas. This is a movie that I just absolutely love. I think he's such a great character because, the entire idea behind the story is it's like his older brother is trying to like modernize Christmas and modernize the way everything's done, and doesn't treat it as like this joyous holiday, doesn't treat it as this like big, beautiful celebration of everything. He's just like, yeah, his older brother's just like, yeah, efficiency, we do it. And then there's a moment where it's like, if the kid gets left behind, a kid gets left behind. It's a 99.999% rate. We're good. But Arthur comes in and is like just pure of heart, a really good person. And the movie is pretty much just about his mission to like his brother is focused on every kid in the world. And it's like, if one child gets left behind, oh, well, but Arthur comes in and is like, well, no, you're ruining Christmas for this one kid. You're ruining the spirit of everything. And just like, he gets everything he needs to by being nice and being dedicated and just being like a generally good person. And I think he's great. And then just the way they set him up is like kind of like ridiculous, kind of goofy. Like he makes Christmas the board game for his family to play, but it's fun. He's really nice and I like him.
That's fair.
And I also just wanted to go for the joke of Merlin and Arthur.
Weird thing about this movie that I don't know if anyone but me remembers, and I don't know if it was just my theater that did this. For some reason, when this movie like opened, it doesn't open with the movie Arthur Christmas. For some reason, it opened with the music video for the Justin Bieber song Mistletoe, and then we got into the movie.
What studio put this out?
I don't know.
It's Aardman?
It's Aardman.
Aardman, yeah.
So at the time, was it owned by Paramount?
Sony.
Sony, I think, was the distributor.
They might have had like a music contract with Bieber or something. Yeah, that's weird.
The film was released on November 11th, 2011 in the United Kingdom and November 23rd. The music video for Justin Bieber's song Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which plays over the end credits, was exclusively shown in theaters before the film.
Nice.
Okay. It wasn't it was a Justin Bieber song, I guess.
It's basically like playing a short before a Pixar movie, but instead they just...
It'd be like playing a 15-minute long Olaf short before Coco.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, but I remember liking Arthur Christmas, and yeah, the optimism is very contagious. Zach?
I love Arthur Christmas, and when I saw it, I was like, "Man, new Christmas classic! Everybody's gonna love it. We're gonna be talking about this for decades." And then I think it exists with it like a wholesome one. Instead, people are fucking jumping on Klaus, which is a shit movie, and this is so much better.
Hey, we're not shitting on Klaus. Klaus is also great.
I'm so perplexed by the Klaus fandom. And
you also don't like The Emperor's New Groove, which explains why you don't like Klaus.
That movie is a disaster. But we're not talking about most annoying animated characters. We're talking about best animated characters.
Oh my lord!
And so, I do love this movie. I'm, a sucker for like Aardman humor and that British humor that I think it is throughout this whole film. I will say the character Arthur. Like he's fine as like a lead, and there's nothing like fully standout. Maybe not the best character in this movie, but it's a great movie choice.
Who would you say is the best character in this movie?
Good question. I haven't seen this in 6 years, and I remember nothing I've seen 2 weeks ago.
Is it Stephen Claus?
There's the elf that was obsessed with rapping, with one piece of tape, which honestly I'm horrible at rapping. I have a motor skill deficiency, but that one tape idea has like stuck in my mind. Every time I rap a present, I want to try to just like one piece of tape. So I'm gonna go with that elf.
Fair. Tim?
I remember seeing it back in the day. I don't really have an opinion, honestly. I remember I feel like, when did this come out? 2010? 2011. I don't know why. I know these movies have literally nothing to do with each other, and one of them is animated, and one of them is live action even. But I get this and Fred Claus confused in my brain a lot. The Paul Giamatti Vince Vaughn Christmas movie. I don't know why I do. They didn't even like really come out that close to each other either, so I don't know why in my brain I get them confused. But I remember liking it. I mean, like, I'm a sucker for animated movies, and so I enjoyed it. But I haven't seen it since it came out. So
best character is easy. It's Grand Santa. I had to look at the Wikipedia. Bill Nye is Grand Santa. Like, some
Grand Santa is great.
Yeah.
What is your opinion? And what is your next pick, Zach?
So I'm going to go with something that in some corners is obvious, but in the movie realm, maybe not so obvious. I'm trying not to be the complete, trying to pick the off the wall ones. Not last ones were off the wall, but last I talked about. But I am picking something I don't get to talk about often. I'm all my favorite characters, which I have like a list of 14, are just like good guys. He's like my best friends, and this is one of my best friends, but he's definitely the biggest stinker on my list. This the little troublemaker stinker. I'm going with Snoopy. I'm going to pick a specific movie. I'm going to go with Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown. In Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, Snoopy gets to play tennis in Wimbledon, and he gets kicked out. What a little fuck. A little guy gets to play in like a great stadium in Wimbledon and gets kicked out. And then he drives a car because none of the other characters have licenses. So Snoopy gets to drive a car. I just love Snoopy lives in this world like without rules and laws, and that he just gets treated as like an adult. He's just like a lovely little troublemaker that also has like the right level of dogness. Like he still just like needs food and still loyal to Charlie Brown, and you know Charlie Brown's your best friend in a way because he's a sad, lonely character. But Snoopy, it's like endless for good humor. I am a huge Charlie Brown fan from the comic strips. Like I learned to read by reading funnies, with Charlie Brown and Garfield like specifically. So there's definitely connections to that. But I kind of just want to re-promote people to watch the classic Charlie Brown movies from the 70s because they're all delightful. They're all great. I believe they are streaming. I can't tell you what site. But I want those to make a comeback in our talk because they're as good as Peanuts, which a lot of people have been watching Peanuts recently. But watch these old ones. This is a delightful movie. It's the Charlie Brown gang going to Paris. Snoopy has to help save French manners from fires. Snoopy's a great guy.
Okay, but like, what if you had that? Like, you have cartoon characters going to Paris, but instead of like the Peanuts, it was the Rugrats.
What if we got a different host?
They're France. I don't think it's Paris.
I don't know if you've seen this movie, but I would assume everybody likes Snoopy.
Yeah, I got to see this in theaters. They were playing it at a random theater on like a Sunday morning. It was great.
Yeah, I've seen all these because I saw them in the theater in like 2015, 2016.
Actually, I probably saw it at your theater, honestly.
That's fair. It wasn't that theater.
Oh, was it at Marcus?
It was at a Marcus.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. And we played them on like like Saturday, Sunday, and like Monday morning at like 10 a.m. And I just like watched them before or after work or something because they're short. They're like 70 minutes long, if that, some of them. Mm-hmm. And they're delightful. They're great. I do like Charlie Brown and the Peanuts a lot. Like not religiously, like people who will watch the holiday specials like every year and like nothing like that. But I'm not. If somebody was like, "Hey, we're gonna pop in a Charlie Brown movie and watch it," I'd be like, "Okay, I'm into it." Like, I have nothing against these characters, and Snoopy is the best character.
Well, Tim's frozen.
I thought Tim just ended very abruptly.
Yeah, I'll just say that I don't know if I have seen this one. I watched a lot of Charlie Brown as a kid, so there is a good chance I have seen this one. I don't know for certain, but I love the character Snoopy. Snoopy's fun. I don't know if I would say Snoopy's my favorite Peanuts character. It kind of just changed as I got older. When I was a kid, my favorite character was Linus. Then when I was like middle school, it was Charlie Brown. And now it's Schroeder. Now I just relate to Schroeder.
I almost went with Woodstock.
That's fair. You Woodstock, I feel like, is you. That's just how you exist. Is Woodstock.
That's a good friend.
Yeah. I like Snoopy. I like the Peanuts. Seeing the Peanuts movie and the Charlie Brown Christmas special. He's a good character. yeah, another one is Zach. I can't judge Zach for basically any wild takes because he's Zach.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Wait, this be a wild take and not taking Arthur?
Sorry, not wild takes.
Snoopy, all-time
It's
classic.
just a quaint
character.
talking animal, or not even talking. It's just a quaint animal, bud.
That's
Yeah,
true.
he's like a Charlie Chaplin figure. He's the opposite of talking.
We'll go on to my next pick. My first pick, I made I did a personal pick, a character I just love. Now I'll bring out the big guns. The greatest voice performance of all time. Robin Williams as the genie
That's not
in
right.
Aladdin. That's not what you thought I was going. That's not.
I thought you were gonna say Marlin.
No, I can be objective. Robin Williams legitimately we talk about like how brilliant this performance is. And yeah, he stopped the movie from being able to get an original screenplay nomination because of how like much his ad-libbing worked here. I love the genie so much. Any scene where the genie shows up is just the most fun thing in Aladdin. Just the constant references to like classic characters, like you got Jack Nicholson. Okay, Sparky, here's the deal. Got Peter Lorre. You got Groucho Marx in there. You got just so many great references. But Genie at his heart, like he clearly does care about Aladdin, which like I feel like typically when you see a genie like portrayed in like any other scenario, the genie is apathetic at best, right? Like typically in pop culture, genies are either apathetic or they're just straight up evil, or they're trying to twist your words around. They're like Gene from the Fairly Odd Parents. But yeah, this is just one of the great animated characters of all time. The real star of Aladdin. Yeah. Zach, thoughts on Aladdin? Well, on Genie in Aladdin.
Honestly, I think the genie is signs of when animated movies start to go wrong. And it's when you become so joke dependent, it like is so outside the reality of the movie, which I think it works in Aladdin because works to an extent because of Robin Williams. But it made everyone copy that tone and do it less successfully. And that's when they start to appeal to what they think a kid's sense of humor is so strong. It had so many jokes rather than relying on the story at hand. I mean, they try to duplicate that with Robin Williams in other movies, as well. It's never as successful. I don't love Aladdin so much. I do think that all those pop culture jokes just throw me a little bit out of that story and out of that world. But he's still I love Robin Williams. He's delightful to watch his energy. But not in my favorite Robin Williams performances. Moscow on the Hudson, forever, baby.
Okay, I kind of see what you're. I kind of, if I squint, can figure out what you're saying, because I will agree with you that after you look pre-Aladdin and post-Aladdin, we got way more of an emphasis on celebrities and marketing of animated movies and just casting celebrities a lot more.
I mean, Mushu doesn't exist if it wasn't for this.
Mushu doesn't exist, but I think Mushu is great. I don't think you have Rihanna in Home or all these you're not being put in because we actually think you're right for a part. We're putting you in so we can put your name on the poster because kids or parents will recognize that name and go, oh, I want to see that movie. That's just kind of what it became. And before that, it wasn't quite as much really. Sure, you had your odd ones out. You had Billy Joel or you had Billy Joel or some other odd ones in there. But typically it really wasn't that centric, especially in Disney. They typically just got the best voice actors for the part. And then it just kind of became about, hey, how many celebrities can we fit in here?
It was like once you get to the Rescuers is when like, oh, Bob Newhart, like they got a real star, like a real name in it. That's the first time.
That's true. Holzman, your thoughts on the Genie?
Yeah, like this is another one where I can't fault anyone for picking this. This is an all-time classic performance. Like I've gone on record, I don't love Aladdin as much as a lot of other people do, and that's just because I came to it very late in life. I saw it for the first time either last year or in 2019. I had never seen it before then, or at least I didn't have any memory of seeing it. But this performance is great. Yeah.
Tim is not back yet, so I don't know if I should wait for him or not. I'm gonna make.
You should wait because I think he's gonna pick one of my options. I want to be able to make my own pick.
We'll circle back to Tim when he comes back and let him give a few thoughts on the Genie. Holtzman, will go to you.
How much do I think that he's gonna pick that? We'll hope that he does. My next one.
You remember, you get 3 picks. You and Zach get
3.
Right,
I'm a guest.
Why do we get 3 picks?
Because we're the guests.
One in
not 5 people.
This is new. I was on a 5-person episode last time, so
okay. It's no secret that my 2 favorite animated movies are a pair of films called How to Train Your Dragon 1 and How to Train Your Dragon 2. So one might think there's a clear, obvious pick there. And I'm probably not going with that. I'm picking Stoic the Vast from the How to Train Your Dragon series.
Wow.
I think he is the best character within the series. I think he undergoes the biggest arc and the biggest character change of anyone, where in the first, he is your typical, like, Viking, manly man, kill all dragons. I have a terrible relationship with my son. But over the course of the 2 movies he's in, you see him grow, you see him change, you see him turn from this stereotype into like a real human being. You see him become this actual good, influential figure. You see him in the second one now, like realizing that his son is his own person and becoming this like leader in this new society, as well. Just the moment in the second one where Stoic and Valka reunite is, I think, one of the most beautiful moments in any animated film. Just the way that he looks at her and says, like, "You're as beautiful as the day I lost you," I think is absolutely incredible. He has a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, just so many different things going for him. And then even his little cameo in the third one where we just see him being just like a dad telling his son the story of like, there used to be dragons once upon a time, is maybe my favorite moment in that movie, except for the very ending. Yeah, I thought about picking Toothless, but Stoic, I think, has the biggest growth and biggest character change over the series.
That is fair. Zach, thoughts on Stoic the Vast?
I am Googling who Stoic the Vast is.
Dad. Okay. Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler, sure. That's a weird pick. It's a weird ass pick. You pick the dragon. Like, they don't have to speak. They don't have to have voice characters. Dragon's a great design. Lovely guy. Good friend.
I love the character design, but I went with the arc.
Yeah, I'm about to go with an arc too. So I like the hustle. I like that you're connected to it. I just never rewatched How to Train Your Dragons. I found them good, like visceral experiences because the animation and especially with the flying is really exciting, well done. But I never just was as connected to the stories in general. And I think it's a little bit of a generational thing. Like, these are like movies you literally grew up with when I was an adult. But I enjoy them.
I was 10.
Yeah. This was a different pick. I see your argument for it. I did not expect it, but I respect it. I definitely respect the pick. Well, Tim's still not back yet. So, Zach, what is your second pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my arc pick too, and just like the most obvious answer I could possibly give to this. But I'm going to be true to myself. I have a long list of bears on my list. I think just I'm not going to get the time because they're just all great guys. They don't have the story arc. I was counting Totoro as a bear. I'm not going to go with Totoro. I'm going to go with, I think, the most fleshed out character and arc of any animated ever. They gave him a lot of time. And that I'm going with Woody for Toy Story. Toy Story, I think people like to think of it as an ensemble movie, and that's why they get so frustrated with Toy Story 4, which I adore, because they're like, we don't see enough of Buzz and the other guys. I'm like, all along, this is Woody's story. This throughout the whole time is all about his arc, and he's not. I said along with the good guys, he's honestly not a good guy, especially in the first one, which is my favorite. He's a dick. He is kind of mirroring the development of a human. Okay, the first one, he is a child learning to, have empathy for other people and to understand that you're not the only person that exists and can have all the attention. And then, by the time the third one, learning to, grapple with moving away from, what you're known. It's about like going away to college, which is literally what they're showing with Andy going away to college. But Woody, in a way, too, is going away from everything he knew as far as his home life and his family life. And I skipped 2 because I just don't have it on top of my head, the comparison. But 4 is very much like empty nesting. It's about you've accomplished your mission, you accomplished your goal. What do you do next? Where does your life left? How do you find a new mission? That's why I find 4 so purposeful. I didn't find it as like an unnecessary addition because I do think it is a pretty necessary step to the evolution of that character. Is we dealt with his end of his relationship with Andy, but like how does he deal with it? How do you cope with when you lose your goal? And I as I'm aging and I grew up with Toy Story. I was 6 when it came out and saw everyone in theaters. And I feel like they just kind of mirrored where I was in the stages of my life a little bit in a way that I can always connect to. And I just see a lot of truth in myself in Woody. And I think it's great. And it's one of the great voice performances ever. They got so lucky getting Tom Hanks, right? Technically this premiered after he already started to explode. Like it was after Forrest Gump, but they casted him before that. It was around like Sleepless in Seattle time. Just so lucky getting one of the greatest actors of the generation into this franchise. Yeah. And actually, I'm so connected to that character, and he really gives it all every time.
Yeah, no, Woody is definitely like, those are his movies. Throughout all 4, those are Woody's movies. And that's where like Toy Story 4 finds its own purpose within Woody. Because Woody was never going to be satisfied with Bonnie. At the end of the day, Woody was not Bonnie's favorite toy. And that's kind of what I love about Toy Story 4 is about like kind of once everything's moved on and you've got like an okay place, where do you kind of go from there? And I really like where Woody ends up. I think that works really well. Overall, I'd say Woody is definitely like one of the best characters just throughout the whole thing. And his friendship with Buzz is like, to me, like the core of the series. Holzman, thoughts on Woody?
Yeah, this is another one absolutely deserves a spot on the list. I'm not as huge on the Toy Story films as a lot of other people, but I think Toy Story 2 is one of the greatest animated movies ever made. Yeah. Easily top 3 Pixar for me. Just a fantastic arc of him over the first 3 movies. I'm of the opinion that the 4th one goes against some things. Luckily, Tim is not here to vehemently disagree with me right now. But no, this is another one absolutely makes a lot of sense. Put it on the list, and I cannot complain.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim's trying to get in here.
He's been coming in and out backstage like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, he's trying to get in. I'm not sure if we should give it a little bit more time to try to get him back in so we can let him make his pick. But I think we'll just let Holzman make his 3rd pick then. I know.
I'm banking on the fact that Tim is going to pick a certain character. I don't know if I can bank on that.
Just
you know what? We'll have some more fun here. I like picking some outside picks. I like picking things that are a lot of fun. I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm gonna pick 2 films from the same studio. And the studio ain't DreamWorks. So I'm going with, in the year 2012, there was a very underrated stop motion animated film from Aardman that features one of, I think, the funniest lead characters in any animated movie. I'm going with a character simply called the Pirate Captain from the Pirates Band of Misfits. I think he's so fun. I think he's so funny, like just absolutely hilarious. It's like, that's why I think in a straight fight, a shark would probably beat Count Dracula. Some of you are the worst pirates I've ever seen. Some of you are more armchair or coat rack than pirate, and some of you are just fish that I've put in a hat. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. The way that he goes from being like a very bad failed attempt at being the most piratey pirate that's ever pirated to like pretend scientist teaming up with Charles Darwin to like disgraced pirate simply because he got a pardon from Queen Victoria for giving her a dodo bird so that she could eat it on her boat. Like, it's absolutely insane. It's just so fun. Well, yes, but actually no. Like, just all these few moments that he has. I think the voice acting of him is great. I think the design of his character is absolutely fantastic. And I just love the fact that he doesn't like all the pirates from like every other crew have names. And then his pirate crew is just like, yes, pirate captain, pirate with gout, pirate with peg leg. It's like they're just the most basic pirates imaginable. He is designed to be like not an extremely interesting character, and they lean into that idea so much that it works perfectly.
Yeah, oh yeah. This movie's super fun. I didn't watch it until this year. And this one, I'm mad I didn't see it sooner. It's such a fun movie. And the thing I was thinking about the whole time is I really want a sequel to this. I think you can do it. They leave it open to where you can just have another adventure with these characters. That crew is so likable. You could absolutely just make a sequel that picks up. The problem is not enough people in America like these types of movies. I don't think Pirates did well, unfortunately.
Well, they had a sequel planned, but then it didn't make a lot of money at the box office, unfortunately. So they were like, no, we're not going to make. I believe the second one was supposed to be called The Pirates and Adventure with Cowboys. I would have been very excited to see that movie.
Shaun the Sheep didn't make any money. They made a sequel to that. Just released it in Netflix.
But Shaun the Sheep has Timmy. Oh, I should have picked Timmy the Sheep for Red Shaw.
You should have picked Timmy the Sheep. How dare you? How dare you? There's Timmy. There's Timmy. Zach, thoughts on The Pirate Captain?
I remember being fairly like enjoying this movie, but unfairly underwhelmed because I think my anticipation level was so high. I think I loved the trailer, and I said I was a big fan of Aardman. To where I'd never rewatched and give another chance. So honestly, I remember very little. I have not seen it since it came out. I'm sure I will enjoy it more in the second watch. But yeah, I mean, pick 2 Aardmans. If you pick 2 DreamWorks, I might have been a little like boring, but pick 2 Aardmans is a good choice. Give some other studios some.
I was between an Aardman and a DreamWorks, so.
Well, Tim's still not back yet. Zach, you want to make your third pick?
Okay, pick a number. I'm going to low off on this one since I picked Woody for last. Woody and Snoopy. I'll go low off. But I can't decide. So 1 or 2.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are going to go with a great guy. Because I'm caught off guard, I'm blanking on names because that's how I fucking work. I just can't remember like my son's name sometimes. I'm gonna go movie I adore. It was on my top 100. I'm gonna go with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I'm gonna go with a supporting character that doesn't really get to speak that much, but he's just a great loyal guy. It has the best joke in the movie. I'm going with Kylie the possum. Kylie is just like down for whatever because I think he just wants like a friend. It's like no one has ever, given him attention and seen him as like a sidekick until Mr. Fox came around. And he's just like wants to be a stand-up guy and be in that role. So he's out there with, masks over his head and, Ray over his head and robbing chickens and gooses. Just because he's kind of told to do so. Just like a lovely, if sort of dim-witted guy. But I say I'm mainly picking this because he gets to say the line, apple juice flood, which is just wonderful. And it's not even apple juice, it's cider, which I think makes the joke even funnier. But every time that goes, I for some reason, I find it really lovely. Raleigh Rulodowski, who's just like a Wes Anderson friend, gets to voice him, but just has like the right level of like dim-wittedness and Wes Anderson vibes throughout the I love Kylie. Funniest part of the movie, so that's my pick.
That's fair. I really like Fantastic Mr. Fox. This one's super fun. It's been a while since I've seen it though, so I don't remember Kylie super well, the character, but I remember this movie being super fun. Holzman.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite animated movies. I rewatched this earlier this year. I think Kylie's a lot of fun because it's like Mr. Fox is your like this is a weird comparison. And I hate that I'm doing this, especially because like I hate the Fast and the Furious franchise. But it's like how in the Fast and the Furious franchise, I can't remember. I think it's Roman who's the guy who every time they're like, "Oh, this is the plan," he's like, "Wait, we're gonna do what with cars now?" Huh? That's almost the role that Kylie fills, where Mr. Fox is like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in, we're going to tranquilize these beagles, we're going to rob all the chickens. He's like, I don't totally understand what you just said, but that sounds like it's illegal. Like, he's just like the sidekick. He just goes along because he's like, yeah, I kind of want something to do. He's afraid of thunder, like just a nice, chill guy. Yeah, I really like this movie. I really enjoy it. They see a dog with rabies, and it's like, I think he's got rabies. And it's like, I think he eats soap. Why would he eat soap? Well, why does he? It's like, why else would he have foam in his mouth?
Yeah,
just like these.
You're making me want to rewatch this now. You're making me want to.
You should.
Yeah, I should. So Tim is unfortunately having internet issues, but he did send us what his second pick would be so we can round out to a clean and even 10. He is going with the character that he foreshadowed by wearing him on his shirt.
I'm so glad I was like, please let Tim pick this.
Yeah.
I don't think we had to pick it because there was already a presence. It was on screen for most of the show. Stitch was part of our panel.
Okay, so we also picked Peter
B. picked Spider-Man too, except I didn't notice this until you raised the shirt.
That's fair. Well, now he's there. So Peter B. Parker, honorary mention. But no, I'll start talking about Stitch. Stitch is a very fun character. I'd be lying if I said Stitch was my favorite character from Lilo. It was honestly in my top 4 characters from Lilo and Stitch because I love the characters in Lilo and Stitch. I think honestly the best character in Lilo and Stitch might be Nani. I think Nani is like.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I really
one of the most well-rounded animated characters ever. Like, you get some real complex drama in there. But Stitch is super fun. The way he bonds with Lilo is great. I love Stitch. Holzman, you hate this movie.
Yeah, no, if there's one thing I hate, it's movies directed by Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders that feature a non-human creature that has a really round head and a mouth that just flaps open like this. I absolutely hate it. Definitely didn't have 2 characters in that vein from those movies on my short lists. No, I love Lilo and Stitch. I think this movie's fantastic. I don't necessarily disagree with you on the Nani point, especially if you like learn the like background information and like extended canon of the history of Nani and everything. I think it makes her a much more interesting character. But no, Stitch is great. Stitch is fun. He beats the hell out of people with a car. And he's like he is absolute murder and death and destruction, but he's also just like cute and fluffy, and you're like, he would eat me and murder me, but I really want to just hug him and hold him
Yeah.
and see what would happen. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. Building the replica of San Francisco in just a few seconds after seeing it once on TV. Like, he's a great character. I love the guy. Does he have a brother?
Does he have a brother? Grandmother? Friendly cousin? Neighbor with a beard? Zach, thoughts on Stitch?
I haven't seen this in forever. It's probably the movie I'm most looking forward to rewatching on my watch through with my son. I'm sure I loved it and I had it on DVD when I was, a preteen. And I mean I talked about how I liked Rum Tub Tugger. I like fuckery on screen. I like chaos agents like Stitch is where I fall for. You guys are all about your like character arcs. I mean, I picked Woody and drama that they have. Full flesh characters. We like Nani better because she's fully fleshed. No, I like little cartoon alien monsters causing shit to happen. It's fun. He is pretty Snoopy-ish in a way. So there's some connection.
Well, now we'll end the show. Just to recap our 10 characters. We had Mike Wazowski, we had Merlin, we had Arthur Christmas, we had Snoopy, we had the Genie, we had Stoic the Vast, we had Woody, we had the Pirate Captain, we had Kylie the Possum, and we had Stitch. Pretty eclectic and unexpected list, but nonetheless, we're about to head out. First, we have the movie of the month and two people who have not talked about this movie on this show yet. Movie of the month is Catch Me If You Can. Zach, thoughts on Catch Me If You Can?
It's no high fidelity, but it is was still in my top 100 list. It's one of those movies I just watched at the right time that kind of helped me evolve into what adult movies or movies that aren't animated can be like, and it's I think endlessly fun that ages wonderfully. Every time I watch it. I think there's something I can even find new about because my most recent rewatch, a couple months ago, I just had felt much more connected to the Christopher Walken father character in that story arc. Maybe it's me becoming a dad, that those father-son themes that are prevalent throughout this whole movie just kind of hit me a little more. And it's, it can be seen as he's like Leo is seeking, a replacement father figure, but Christopher Walken was still a really solid dad. He just had his own struggles that kind of took away from that, but there's still this connection, this loyalty to each other, and a sadness that he can't like impart the right lessons on the way. They can't be the best, example. But also like the weird pride he has that Leo, in a way, he sees him as successful because he pulled off that he's like smarter than anyone else. It's just this weird connection of wanting to be the smartest person in the room is how the father and son really feel their like joint DNA that I connect to. But I'm a huge Tom Hanks fan. I think that's pretty known at this point. And I think this is, a lot of people love this movie and they think about Leo, but it's really a terrific Tom Hanks performance, and he really helps carry the pace and the dramatic elements of this movie.
That's fair. Holtzman, I know you love this film. Thoughts?
Yeah, so this show is a lot about Letterboxd and all that. If you go to my Letterboxd, there's a little bar that says favorites. And there's 3 movies directed by Edgar Wright. And then there's Catch Me If You Can. This is my 4th favorite movie of all time. It was number 4 on my top 100. I adore this movie. I think it's so fun. I think it's so cool. I think it's so stylish. I think DiCaprio is absolutely fantastic. Just the way he can go from being like this cool, suave, calm guy that like has everything thought out at one turn and then just completely fall apart at a moment's notice and lose all his cool. Like when we're at the engagement party and they show up, just seeing him completely drop the act of like being this cool guy, being this like absolute fantastic criminal, and then he turns back into this like 15, 16-year-old kid who is in way over his head, and he's finally starting to realize it and just absolutely panicking. I think it's fantastic. I love Tom Hanks in this. I think Tom Hanks is so good. I think just the way that they build his character, especially with his sense of humor. Oh my gosh, it's Tim Brzakala.
Sorry to interrupt your thought. I just want to say, Don't you love it when you pay over $100 a month for something and it doesn't work?
Rough.
Go on. Sorry.
But I love Tom Hanks in this. I think me and my friends will constantly reference the knock knock joke to each other. Hey, when you're a knock knock joke, sure. Knock knock. Hey, knock knock. Like you gotta say it like
you tell a joke.
But no, I think this movie's fantastic. Walken is great. The score is one of my favorite film scores of all time. I think it's a very underrated Williams score. It's just so cool and fun, and that main like theme that plays throughout is fantastic. I could go on for hours about how much I love this movie, but yeah. Tim is back, and now he can react to all the random shit we put on the list.
Yeah, you gotta do fast pace every.
No, you don't have to do that. Did you already talk about Catch Me If You Can, Zach?
Yes, Zach did. Zach, what rating would you have given Catch Me If You Can out of 5?
5 out of 5, or in my mind, 10 out of 10, because it's a 10 point.
That's fair. Holtzman, I assume 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's my 4th favorite film of all time, so I'd give it like a 2. No,
well, I mean, if you're
Kirk in the house.
I was gonna say if I'm Kirk.
If you're Kirk, like 4th favorite film of all time, that's like a solid 4 stars.
It's the perfect movie. I have no problems with anything in it.
That's fair. So that about wraps up the show.
I really just want to see Tim's rapid fire reactions to what we put on.
All right, fine. Okay, so when I left, we were talking about Aladdin. What else was there?
We had Stoic the Vast.
Stoic, okay.
Woody.
Okay.
Pirate Captain from the Pirates Band of Misfits.
Oh, okay.
Kylie the Possum from Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
And then your pick of Stitch.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. No, that's
Boat and Tim are here to run like a functional list that everyone will probably agree with. And me and Zach are like, hey, no.
Hey, no, I picked Woody mainly to give myself permission to pick Kylie.
That's fair. Awesome.
Yeah, so that about wraps things up for Logged It. Zach, thank you to Zach, Holtzman, and Tim Brzakala. Thank you everyone for watching. Next week, we have unlikely source material with Kirk, Brian, and Cameron on the show. That should be fun. But without further ado, we will say goodbye. Thanks everyone for watching.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening.